your Bibles, turn with us to the book of Joshua. For those who were not here on Wednesday night, I don't know if the media ministry recorded the service. If they did, tell them to give you a free copy. Because it was such a profound message. And no, I didn't preach it, but I sure shouted. But Bishop Gordon out of Millersville preached time to cross over, arise and cross over. And in our leadership class of our ministers in training, this morning, the message was living or standing on the edge of victory. And I began to say, now God, this all ties in together, and I love what you're doing. So as we look at Joshua, the 7th chapter, I want to call your attention to verse number, Joshua 7. Verse number 6, begin our reading. It says, then Joshua tore his clothes and fell to the earth on his face before the ark of the Lord. Until the evening, he and his elders of Israel. They put dust on their heads, and Joshua said, at last, Lord God, why have you brought this people over the Jordan at all, to deliver us into the hand of the Amorites to destroy us? Oh, that we had been content and dwelt on the other side of the Jordan. O Lord, what shall I say when Israel turns its back before its enemies? For the Canaanites and all the inhabitants of the land will hear it and surround us. Cut off our name from the earth. Then what will we do for your great name? So the Lord said to Joshua, get up. Why do you lie thus on your face? I want to look at this passage. And I want to do a little talk. What do I do when I cross over and mess up? What do I do when I cross over and mess up? I want to briefly go to Joshua 1. In Joshua 1, we find that God is speaking to Joshua himself. And he's telling Joshua, he said, Joshua, Moses is dead. It's time for you to rise and cross over this Jordan. It's the work I need for you to do. And you can't do it in a morning state. It is good when you hear a promise from God, what he requires of thee. When he tells you that you're greater than who you are. What do I do when God begins to infuse in my mind that I won't be broke always? How do I handle when God look at me and tell me I'm better than where I'm living? And he showed me scripturally the promise of God that he tells me you're the head and not the tail. What do I do when God says you should be healed and not sick? And I take God at his word and start walking towards my healing. I start walking towards my prosperity. I start walking towards peace. But then something happens. I call the folk together briefly. And he tells them, God tells us to cross over the Jordan. Don't be scared. Be courageous, for the land belongs to us. Oh, God. Then they cross over. Now, this is not the first time they had to cross over a river. For they understand when the people of Israel was called out of Egypt, they had a Red Sea experience. That Moses led them through the Red Sea on dry ground. So now the me happy? What do I do when folk don't want to see me blessed? I tell you what to do. Ignore them and go get what belongs to you. Oh, go ahead and preach anyhow, Paul. When I feel like giving up. The text says there are going to be some giants in the land. There's some folk over there who don't want to see you succeed because they are on your deeded property. This land belongs to you already, but you got some tenants on there who hadn't paid you rent but has stole what belonged to you. They're eating up your joy, they're eating up your happiness, they're taking your money, they live in your house, they're riding your car, and they got your job, and you sitting here broke with nothing to do. I wish the devil would mess with me because in my name on it, I want what belongs to me. I'm tired of sitting up in here broke when I'm supposed to be rich. Anybody with me? So, the spies go in and they start the land. They said it's true. Here's what we saw. Good, let's go get it. Then they come up to Jericho. And in chapter 5, he says, don't be afraid of Jericho. It belongs to you. Don't forget what he said in chapter 1. See, the problem is we come so far from where we've been started out that we forget the promises of God. I can never forget that I'm more than a conqueror. I can never forget that I'm the head and not the tail. Even though I got to work to get to the front, I belong in the front of the line. Watch this. Jericho comes, an unusual battle. Now, when Israel saw Jericho, they realized they couldn't beat Jericho. So when you can't do something, what you do? You pray to God. You lean on God. You trust God. Even though it's silly what he said. Walk 6 times, 6 days, and don't say a word. On the 7th day, when you complete the wall, shout and the walls fall down. That don't make sense when you're trying to fight somebody who's bigger and stronger than you. But because I don't have no other choice, I do what God says do. When I'm broke, I pray. When I'm sick, I pray. When I get beat upside the head, I pray. When I don't have nowhere to go, I pray. When my children cut the food, I pray. When I get fired from my job, I pray. When I got food on my table, I pray. And gas in my car, I pray. But the moment I got $2, I start praying. The moment cancer leave, I start praying. The moment my family jail together, I start praying. Come here, I'm in your I had to do all that quick introduction to get to the meeting. One, he tells me to be strong and of good courage. Don't be scared. 2, he tells me to get up and cross over. 3, he tells me how to win the first battle. You can, watch this. You cannot do what you did yesterday at your next battle. In chapter 6, they didn't know how they were going to win, so they trusted God. In chapter 7, they misgauged their enemy. Just because they're small, don't mean you can beat them. Watch what happened. They spied the land. This is their custom, spy out the land. So they go and see the land. They come back with a report. We don't need to send all of us to fight AI. They small. We can beat them without even going to God. What mess we get into when we take stuff in our own hands and don't consult God before we walk. AI turned out to be a defeat for the children of Israel because they said to themselves, we don't need you, God. We can do this on our own. They're small. But just because you can't see the enemy don't mean he ain't there with backup. Oh God, because in chapter 8 it's reported that 8,000 of them died. They only sent 1,000 into the land to win the battle, but when they got there, 36 of them got defeated, killed. When I start out with you and don't come home with you, then 1,000 retreated and turned their back. Now we come to the prayer. When I get in trouble, I pray. What do I do when I cross over and mess up? First of all, you don't consult God, you messed up. But when you get caught up in stuff you can't get out of, you better get back on your knees to God to pray. Oh God, what we gonna do? All these folks trusting me as your leader. I'm just praying. All I know to do is go back to the church and fall at the altar. I'm praying. The preacher told me that he heard from God, and God said I was going to be delivered, but here I am still catching hell. I've been to the altar last week. He laid hands on me. I felt like his spirit. And he told me I was going to pass the test. I went to the altar and laid out at the altar, and God began to tell me my marriage was healed. I went to the altar, and God spoke to me at the altar. But what God did not tell you is that when you get up on the altar, you got to trust what you heard at the altar. Sometimes you can't believe at the altar. There's something you got to walk away with your head hung up and say, I will not be defeated. I will be more than a conqueror. I will be a survivor. Why? Because God told me. So he began to blame God for the failure. We do that. You do know, right? Well, God, you said, yeah, I did. I hear God say, but I also instructed you to do some stuff in the part of me saying. So Joshua is really pouring his heart out to God. He's got a cyclone on. He's praying in verse number 7. And God, why did you bring these people over the Jordan at all? Why did we have to cross over? Because we were comfortable on the other side of Jordan. We were used to stuff on the other side. But now I'm over here and don't know what to do. Why did you bring us here? Folk laughing at us talking about I'm going to graduate with honors. Folk laughing at us talking about we will be millionaires. Folk laughing at us when we talking about we will own all this stuff and we don't have nothing, God. What do I do when I don't know what to do? He says, oh God, we've been content on the other side of Jordan. Oh Lord, what shall I say when Israel turns its back before its enemies? The Canaanites, the enemies, when they hear it, they're going to surround us. They're going to cut off our name from the earth. What do we do? God says, get up. Let me talk to some of us, including me and the us. Get up! You're wilding too much. You're crying over spilled milk. You're sitting there when God is giving you the resources, but we wasted it. And now we complain to God because it ain't working. God says, get up. He rebukes Joshua. Why do you like this on your face over this matter? This is not even a real matter to be possible at the altar over. If you would have done what I told you to do, Jamie, you wouldn't be in this situation at all, living faith. And because you wasted time living faith and Jamie, you are sitting here crying over spilled milk. Get up. He says, you got to get some stuff cleaned up before I can get you completely up. Let's go to the next verse. I deliberately left that out of the reading. Listen. Israel has sinned. They have transgressed my covenant which I commanded them. For they have even taken some of their cursed things and have both stolen and deceived, has also put it among their own stuff. Write this down. Stop compromising because of your situation due to the lack of. Go ahead, say that, Jesus. Stop compromising because of your situation due to the lack of. Israel sinned and took the accursed thing from Jericho. Let me get real. Just because you ain't got money, stop selling your body.
All right.
I ain't no prostitute. If you pay for it, you bought it.
That's right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Stop compromising your mind for a smoke.
Yes, sir.
See, we don't get real there because see what happened, they went into the enemy's camp and compromised who they were and took what they wanted because they didn't have. He went and took the spoil. He was broke. He said, so since I don't have this, it look good, it's clean. going to hide it. I'm going to go back to my house. I'm going to bury it for a rainy day. But how many know your rainy day can cost you your life? Just because you want something that don't belong to you, stop taking stuff that you know you can't handle. I wish I could talk to somebody on this side. It's going to behoove you to always try to take something that you know you ain't made to possess.
Bring it, Father.
You sin, you messed up. And Joshua, you crying, but you need to get up and start looking. Oh, God. I need the text. Watch this. Verse 12. Since you sinned, since you messed up, you can't even stand in front of the folk I delivered it to you. Until you rid yourself of some stuff. Every time you get to a victory state, you will always be standing on the edge and never walk into victory because you got some stuff in you, around you, that you hid and don't think I see, but I won't let you win that way. Yes, some of us need to empty our pockets and turn it over to the Lord and say, I can't. Oh, I mean, I'll go ahead and do it. I have some illegal in my pocket, but it's just peppermint. But see, some of y'all what you got in the hand. Peppermint.
Yes.
You got to get rid of some stuff.
Yes, sir.
In order for God to bless you the way He designed to bless you. This is what He says. For the children of Israel could not stand before the enemies, but turn their backs before the enemy, because they have become doomed to destruction. I forgot to tell you, this tribe is out of Judah. Verse 1. You'll find Judah in this tribe. It's bad to be a praiser
Yes, sir.
on Sunday morning and still get tore up on Monday morning. It's bad to be in the house on Sunday morning, shouting and praising God, and on Tuesday the enemy tearing your tail up. It's bad to be on Bible study on Wednesday night worshiping God, and on Thursday morning you're broke and disgusted and blaming God for the lack of. And God says, I've given you all of this in Joshua 1. I've given the land to you that flows with milk and honey, but because you messed up in chapter 6, you would sit here stuck in chapter 7. But there's another chapter coming called chapter 8 that if you get it cleaned up in 7, you will walk to chapter 8 and a new beginning. Somebody say, I'm getting ready to cross over into my victory point. And when I get there, I know how to act in there. How do I get there? Chapter 13. I mean, verse 13.
Yes.
The second time, God's talking to us. In verse number 11. Verse 10, He says, get up. But we still there. 3 verses later. It's that God has given you the blueprint of success.
Yes, sir.
He's told you to get up, but you're still down 3 verses later and still complaining why you ain't got it. Verse 13, get up for the second time. Now this time when you get up, sanctify the people with you. Sanctify yourselves. For tomorrow I will reveal the thing to you. Some of us need to sanctify those around us. In this case, Joshua was being punished because somebody in his territory, his camp, had hid something. God has been trying to relieve some folk from your circle because they've been holding up your breakthrough and blessing. But because you're so stubborn, you stay down with him. I'm down like those black ties with your boy. We've been riding down together. We're going to ride them down to the end. And you're going to die without your blessing. There's a time that some of you see you later. Get rid of you. Because as long as you stay connected to me, I'll never get what God has for me. But as for me and my house, we out. I know you got it for a rainy day, but get it out.
Yes, sir.
Get the nick out. I know you got it for a rainy day, but get it out. Get the motel key out. Get it out.
Yes, sir.
Get the secret account. Get it out. Because you're holding on to some stuff that's getting in the way of your breakthrough. But I don't know who I'm talking to up in here. While you want to be judgmental, you got to judge inside and clean the inside out. So when you step outside, you can get what belongs to you. Don't worry what your neighbor going through. Don't worry what your sister going through. Don't worry what I'm going through. But worry what you got to go through. Anybody up in here? Facebook, rid yourself of it. Instagram, some stuff needs to be delayed, Graham.
Yes.
We always, it's the sinner stuff, and then it comes with delayed gratifications. Oh, God, help me. I don't have no fancy clothes for all you theologians and Bible scholars, but this is what I do have. When you clean it up,
Yes, sir.
and when you get rid of it, don't just put it outside the door, but kill it.
Yeah.
And everything associated with it, kill it. Because if you don't kill it, it'll have a tendency of coming back in your house.
Yes, sir.
But there's some stuff you gotta look at and pronounce it dead. Ashes to ash,
Yeah.
dust to dirt, earth to earth. You shall no longer be resurrected in my life. You are not Jesus Christ, or you won't raise up on the third day. I'm gonna put some dirt on you. I'm gonna put some dirt on this anger. I'm gonna put some dirt on this jealousy. I'm gonna put some dirt on this homongering. I'm gonna put some dirt on this smoking. I'm gonna put some dirt on this homosexuality. I'm gonna put some dirt on you trying to rob me. I'm gonna put some dirt on you cutting me. I'm gonna put some dirt on some stuff that has been messing with me. I can't live like this no more. I won't be like this always. God promised me to be in a land of flowing milk and honey, and I want what belongs to me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So when I cross over and I mess up, I gotta get up again. When I get up again, I gotta sanctify myself. And I gotta rid myself of some stuff. And I gotta bury some stuff. And then I can move to chapter number 8, when we go back to the very place we lost, and we go up into the place that said I wouldn't be nobody. I go back to the people who said I don't look like much, and I overtake them by the grace of God and the Spirit of the Holy Ghost. I'm able to stand like I'm somebody. I'm putting stuff to the feet all over this place. There's some of us in here today. If we be honest with ourselves, we messed up. God, we messed up.
Yes.
And everything that belonged to us has been held up because we messed up.
Yes, sir.
And I hear God says, it's time to clean up.
Yes, sir.
So I can restore you. So you can be who you desire to be in God.
Yes, sir.
So today, I want to talk to that group of people who messed up bad.
Thank you.
I don't care if you smoked before you came to church.
Yes, sir.
I don't care if you took a drink to ease your nerve.
Yes, sir.
I don't care if you left from somebody else's house.
That's
I don't care if you played the number before you got here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I don't care if you cussed somebody out on the way to church.
Yes, sir.
That's a mess up.
Yes, sir.
And because God knew who we were, He fixed something for all our mess ups.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
He did that through the form of Jesus Christ, His Son. That's why we celebrate this season called the birth.
Yes.
But He had to be born to die for our sins.
Yes, sir.
So since all of us in the same category have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God, that's good.
Yes, sir.
But He also have us the blood that will clean clean us and sanctify us and heal us.
Yes.
So yeah, I messed up.
Yes.
I lied. I messed up. Yeah. I didn't pay my tithes. I messed up. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Y'all look at me. I'm just
Yes,
calling
sir.
everybody out.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes. Yes.
I cut in front of somebody trying to get here. I messed
Yes,
up.
sir. Yes.
I didn't smile at my neighbor this morning. I messed up.
Yes, sir.
I know it's cold, but I ran in and closed the door in their face. Yeah, I messed
Yes,
up.
sir. Yes, sir.
I saw them struggling, trying to get the babies in, but I ignored them. Yeah, I messed
Yes,
up.
sir. Yes.
Yeah, God, I've been gossiping, talking about folk. I messed up. But you know what? Despite all of our mess ups, God says He still loves us.
Yes, sir. Thank you, God.
He says, while you were yet sinners, my loving kindness drew you.
Yes.
So today you're here. Number one, you're not saved.
Yes, sir.
I just showed up because I was invited. Good.
Yes, sir.
God still loves you.
Yes, sir.
Number two, I don't need these folk to know what I hid in my tent. Because if they knew what I hid in my tent, they would judge me
Yes,
accordingly.
yes.
But the good thing about today, when you uncover your tent, you won't uncover the man.
Yeah.
You're going to uncover the Jesus.
Yes, sir.
Because He can do something about it. I can't do nothing about it in the person next to you.
Yes, sir.
Thirdly, you need a place that you can fellowship and call your home, church family.
Yes.
We invite you. One, salvation. Two, restoration. And three, discipleship. Through membership. Will you please come? Sing for us choir.